Good evening or morning, everyone. I just wanted to create a little video here for the 2016-2017 school year here at Center Grove, and to show you some of the new and awesome features that we have in Canvas. And I'm going to focus on two of the biggest features that we have here. If you haven't checked Canvas already, you'll notice that there is a new user interface. Basically, how Canvas looks is a little bit different. We'll go through that relatively quickly. And then I also want to talk about the much anticipated and awaited Canvas Skyward Integration. That is, the grades that you post in Canvas will now be able to transfer over to Skyward. So I want to talk a little bit about how to set that up for you and how to make sure that that's a smooth transition. It's a pretty neat and easy way to get grades to transfer from one to another rather than having to sit and look at Canvas and look at Skyward and transferring grades back and forth. It's just a mess. So there's a couple easier ways to do that. But first, let's look at the new user interface. The primary difference between this interface and the previous interface is that everything in the navigation that was once on the top has now moved over to the left-hand side. So your courses, your groups, your calendar, your inbox, commons, that all used to be up here at the top, but now it is over here on the left-hand side. There's a few differences with the course navigation. So here you see you actually have a dashboard. This replaces the drop-down menu that was at the top left-hand corner of the old Canvas homepage. So these are courses that you have favorited. If you remember, there was a little star that you would click to the left-hand side of a course in the full course menu, and when you clicked on that, it would create a favorite, and then there'd be a little drop-down menu. Well, here we don't have the drop-down menu. We have what's called a dashboard. And these little tiles here on the dashboard, you can actually click and you can change the color of them. You can also change the nickname as well. So make sure that you know that you have that option available. You can actually use there's a hex code down here if you want to look for real specific colors. You can go through and do that. Kids have this feature as well, and they can actually change the names of their courses, but it won't actually change the name of the course. It'll just change what they see. So rather than seeing, fall 2016 biology lamb, they might just change that to biology because it will be easier for them to be able to navigate. If you want to see your full course list, on the left-hand navigation, you see a button that says courses. If you click on that, you do have a menu here of your favorites, just like what you would in the old user interface. And then if you click all courses, you'll see a list of all of your courses just like you would if you clicked all courses in the old UI. So you can see all of the different courses here that you're a part of. If you want to favorite them, there's a little star here, and then that will add to the dashboard, which makes navigation quite a bit easier. So feel free to do that. That's pretty much the only big differences between the old user interface and the new ones. Just make sure that you understand that the navigation is just a little bit different, but for the most part, you won't notice any significant changes in Canvas. Most of the courses look exactly the same, and they'll look exactly the same to the kids as well. What is nice is that for kids, if they're utilizing the app or they're utilizing a PC, most of the features are now the same. There were some significant differences between utilizing Canvas on the iPad and utilizing it on a computer, but now there aren't any real significant changes. You see here, you're in a course. You still have the navigation on the left-hand side. Everything else pretty much looks the same. So that pretty much covers it for the new user interface. I want to talk a little bit about Canvas Skyward Integration, as that is something that is very, very cool and something that I'm sure a lot of you have been waiting for. So like I said before, Canvas and Skyward will now communicate with one another. There's a few things that you will need to do to set up in order to get that to work. The first thing you're probably going to want to do is to set up your Skyward gradebook exactly how you want it. So I'm going to switch over to Skyward, and we'll take a look in just a second. Okay, so here's a little bit about what Skyward looks like in terms of categories, and this is the default, so this is what you automatically start with. So if you don't put things into categories, just leave it as this, and let these be the categories that you utilize as you create your groups of assignments in Canvas. If it's different, you'll need to go to Add and Edit Categories on the right-hand side. When you click on this, now you have an opportunity to select any categories that you want from this list. I'm going to go ahead and save that, leave it as it is. And again, if you need to change your scoring method, you can do that up here in the top right corner. So that way it can be changed to percentages based on categories and whatnot. But just make sure that you have your categories set up just the way you want to in Skyward before you move on. So let's go back to Canvas and go from there. Once your gradebook's all set up in Skyward with your categories or your weights, or if you just do total points, now is when you're going to want to go into Canvas and take a look around. So there's really two ways to do this. I'm going to show you one way to do this, which is a little bit of a longer way, but it's more convenient if you're creating new assignments. And then I'm going to show you a different way that's good if you have a bunch of assignments that you've used before and just want to switch them over so that they will transfer. So I'm going to go ahead and show you one way to do this. So I'm going to go to my modules, and let's say I just created an assignment and I want that to be able to transfer over to Skyward. So I'm going to click on the assignment. And I'm going to go to Edit and edit that particular assignment. If you scroll down to Edit, you'll see a couple things, and there are two things you really need to focus on. The first one is the assignment group. Now, if you've never created an assignment group before, this might be blank, or it might have something like assignments and assessments in it, and that's fine. What's very important is that this assignment group exactly matches the group or category that is in Skyward. They have to match exactly. So if I have a homework category in Skyward, I have to have an assignment group category that is homework in Canvas. If you need to create a new group, you can do so down here at the bottom. But those groups must match exactly with what you want in Skyward. Word for word, letter for letter, and capitalization matters. So make sure that they're exactly the way you want them to. And that way they will transfer over exactly the way you want them to. So once you've gotten your group and make sure that it matches up with the one on Skyward, you want to scroll down and there's a little tab here that says Post Grades to SIS. You want to make sure to click this so that way the assignment's grades will post to Skyward. Everything else is the same. You can add point totals, ways to submit it, assign, and save. And now, when you post grades, that particular assignment's grades will transfer over. You do not need to create the assignment in Skyward. Canvas will do that for you. You will want to complete these steps for each individual assignment you wish to transfer over. Now, like I said, this is a little bit of a longer way to be able to complete this particular task. There's a second way to do this that might actually save a little bit of time, especially for those of you who have already created assignments that you wish to move over and have the Skyward Canvas transfer active. In order to do the second part, again, this is two ways of doing the exact same thing. I'm actually going to go to assignments. Now, once I'm in assignments, I have the ability to create a group. This is the same step that we did on the individual assignment. And these are the groups that will need to match up to Skyward. So in this part, I can type in homework, and I can have a homework group name. Or if I have a quiz category in Skyward, I want to create a group name that says quiz in Canvas. Again, just a reminder that they must be exactly the same as what is in Skyward, or the transfer will not work correctly. Once you've created that, all of your assignments will be listed here. All you need to do is click on the little buttons to the left-hand side, and now you can drag your assignments to the particular group which you would like that assignment to be a part of. So this is a little bit quicker way because you can actually do multiple assignments and put them in all of the different groups that you wish to have. When you're ready, there's a little button on the right-hand side. Looks like a little S that's in a square. If you click that button and it is green, that means that the grade will transfer to Skyward. If it's not clicked, then it will not transfer. So it's nice that not all of the assignments will have to transfer. For example, if I don't want this video quiz to transfer, I just unclick and it goes away. It will not transfer over. If I click on it, then it will transfer over. So it makes things a little bit easier, goes by a little bit quicker, but I do want to make sure that you understand there are two ways to be able to do this. So that way you can kind of pick and choose which one you want to do, and one way might be preferable in one situation, whereas the other way might be preferable in another. But once you are done, You'll need to go through that with each process. You'll need to go through the same process with each new assignment that you create to ensure that it transfers directly over to Skyward. It's pretty simple when you get the hang of it. It does take a little bit of time to get used to, but again, I'm here if you ever have any questions. I'm happy to support that. Just feel free to email me. Email's at the bottom of the screen as we speak. So we've got all this taken care of. Now let's transfer our grades over. So I'm going to click on grades, and the names of the students have been blocked out to protect the successful. So we will go to, there's a little button at the top that says Post Grades. Click on this, and it's going to fetch the assignments, and it will say I have it's like 62 assignments that have the ability to be transferred. So we'll give it a little bit of time to think. 63, my mistake. If there are assignments that maybe don't have a category, they aren't assigned correctly, there's a couple of little things that I'll talk about at the end of the video. There's issues that will pop up in here. For right now, all of mine are good. I can actually assign a specific section, so once you cross-list your courses, you got period 1, period 2, you can actually assign just specific periods if that's something you wish to do. And then when you're ready, you just click Post, and that's it. All of your grades will now transfer over to Skyward. It's pretty cool, isn't it? There are a couple of questions that people typically have with the transfer. I'm still learning all of the little features of it. So bear with me that there may be some things that I don't know at this time, but I'm learning about them. And I'm going to address some of those questions here in just a minute. All right, the first question I typically get is, can I still add assignments to Skyward without adding them into Canvas? So let's say you have something that's completely on paper and you don't use Canvas for it at all. Can I still add it into Skyward? And the answer is yes. You can add paper assignments on Skyward, and it won't interfere with Canvas. It won't interfere with the integration, and it will include all of that in the grades. So you have nothing to worry about there. If you still have papers that you turn in on paper, that's perfectly fine. You can still utilize Skyward just as we've done before to post grades. The second question I got is about changing grades. So let's say a kid goes back or retakes a quiz in Canvas and gets a higher score. When you post the grades, it will take that new score and post that in Skyward. So let's say you change a grade in Skyward, but don't change it in Canvas. If you post grades, the Canvas grade will override the Skyward grade. So it will post over the top of it. So just be sure to keep that in mind. For assignments to be able to transfer, they must be assigned to all students in the course. That's something that's very important. So make sure that all of the students are assigned a particular assignment, and the grade will be able to be posted. Otherwise, it will not work, and you'll get an error message. And then the one thing I have not figured out yet is how to get the missing assignment button to click on in Skyward. If you put zeros in Canvas, the zeros will transfer over to Skyward. However, the missing assignment will not. So you will still need to go into Skyward, and any student that hasn't submitted something, you want to click that little button that says 0 and missing in Skyward to ensure that that parents and students can see that their child has a missing assignment. Canvas Skyward Integration will not do that for you, so you'll still need to go into Skyward and click that little button that will mark all of the ones that haven't been turned in 0 and missing. I think that's all I have for you at this point in time. Again, if you have any questions on this, I know it's a bit confusing at first. Take your time with it. Practice. And if you have any questions, like I said, let me know. I'm happy to support you in all and anything that you might need. So have a great day. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.